Hello there. We continue with our series on David entitled After God's Heart, and we continue to follow the little booklet that I told you about last time, After God's Heart, a study in brokenness from the life of David. I wrote this book with these topics that we are seeing, so if you want to get them in Amazon Kindle, they are available all over the world, After God's Heart. Today we are in the chapter Chosen, and that's because David was chosen to fight a giant, Goliath. I have seen people fight giants, especially my mom and dad. They were not the Goliath type of giants, but I saw them go through 3 types of cancer each, and I saw the peace in their eyes, how God gave them something that naturally we don't have to face giants. And one of the last times that my dad was at the hospital, I placed a big sign on the wall with Isaiah 41:10. I made a big sign, Isaiah 41:10. It says, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." I love this verse. He told me how much it meant to him every time he woke up to see this sign. Well, maybe you are chosen to fight a giant today. So hopefully you'll get a lot out of this topic. Let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 17. It starts on verse 1 by saying the Philistines gathered the armies for battle. The Philistines were the people of the sea, great power around 1200 BC. And they used to battle through representatives. So they would send a champion out to do battle with another champion from the other side. And on verse 4, it says that a champion came out from the armies of the Philistines named Goliath. And it says that he was very tall, 6 cubits and a span, which is about 9.5 feet high, the height. And we are told a lot about his armor. Everybody was focusing on what he was wearing, how strong he was. We are told in verse 5, he had a bronze helmet on his head, and he was clothed with scale armor, which weighed 5,000 shekels of bronze, which is about 125 pounds, just the armor. And the javelin and the sword and this and that, and everybody's focusing on how strong the giant is. And then all of a sudden, David shows up. It's interesting because we're told in verse 16 that the Philistine came forward morning and evening for 40 days, taunting the armies of Israel, saying, don't you have a champion that should come out to fight with me? Saul was the king, and he was taller, 1 head taller than all the other people in the land. But he was terrified. If you read the whole story, he wasn't going to fight Goliath. And David shows up. And when everybody was talking about Goliath, David comes talking about God. He has a whole different focus. He's focusing on the strength of his God and the fact that nobody should taunt his God. And he actually says on verse... I think it's verse 26. Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should taunt the armies of the living God? Who is this? When everybody was talking about Goliath's strength and his armor and his helmet and his height and everything, David says, let's focus on God. You know who my God is? He's a great God. I love that sentence that says, don't spend too much time talking to God about the size of your giants, but talk to your giants about the size of your God. Well, David would go on to say that he would fight this giant. And of course, Saul told him, and I hope you take a moment to read all of 1 Samuel 17. Saul said, you cannot do this. You're not able. He's a great warrior. You're just a child. And David said, no, he will deliver me. He has delivered me from the lion, from the bear, and he will deliver me this time again. It's interesting because if you're going to do what you have been chosen to do and fight the giants that you have been chosen to fight, you will have to learn to ignore a lot of voices. All the other voices that say, you are not able, you can't. He had to ignore the brothers' voices. He had to ignore the king's voices, probably his own voices inside that said, I'm a child, I'm a young man compared with this man. So we got the incredible opportunity of visiting the Valley of Elah, where David and Goliath fought. And I took the opportunity, this is a little stone from there, and you will see the video where I'm picking up these stones. And it was a very emotional experience for me to be standing there where David fought Goliath, and there's a little dry bed there where I picked up some stones. But following the lead of the famous writer Max Lucado, who has a really good book on this called Facing Your Giants, he says, David picked up 5 stones, like the Bible says, and we're going to give names to the stones, and all of them start with P, so that you will remember. It's 5 things that David used that encouraged him. And again, I hope you read the whole chapter, because you will find these things there. The first one is the past. The past. David says, he has already delivered me from the lion and the bear. He will deliver me again. Then the prophecy, he will deliver me. This is not a possibility. It's not that maybe I think he could. No, is he will deliver me. The third one is the P for power. It says that he came in the name of the Lord of hosts, Yahweh Sebaoth, the Lord of the armies of heaven. That was the power. It wasn't David's power. It was the power of the great God, the Yahweh Sebaoth, the Lord of the armies of heaven. And the priority was that the name of the Lord would be known. That was his priority. I love the 5 stones because they help me every day. And finally, his passion. It says that when he saw the giant, he ran towards the giant. This name of God, this powerful God, the Lord of the hosts of heaven and earth. I am going to read to you from the book, page 26. The powerful name of God, Lord of hosts, is used 241 times in the Jewish scriptures. Amazing. This is not one of many gods like the Philistines claim. No, this is the God of the armies of heaven and earth. And it is his name that is on the line. And David's passion is for God's reputation. And then he says something that I need to remember every day. The battle is the Lord's, not mine, not yours, but God's. The battle is the Lord's. And you can see this on verse 47. It's interesting because when we believe in the gospel, we also believe that our representative has fought for us and has won. You know, we had a representative. His name was Adam at the beginning of the race. He was defeated by the enemy. But then Jesus came as the second Adam. And you can read all about this in Romans 5, verses 18 and 19. One man fought for us and he won. That's why we can live with the assurance of salvation. So remember this, the battle is the Lord's. And when you're facing giants, take the counsel. Don't talk so much to God about the size of your giants, but talk to your giants about the size of your God. God is with you.